Hi everyone, my name is Eddie. I'm one of the founders of Functronic Labs, and today I'm excited to present to you a new update to the Light Brigade. I know it's been quite a while since our initial launch in February. We've been quite hard at work. Our team is small. We have about like 9 people shipping across 3 major platforms. So, between that and just keeping the studio alive, it's been kind of a struggle within the past few months. But our intentions with the Light Brigade has always been to keep it a living product. Being a roguelike game allows us to kind of modularly add new things to the experience. So today, I want to present to you a slew of new content that we've been working quite hard at for the last few months. So for Functronic Labs, how we view the Light Brigade is we view the replayability to be very important. We want the players to have very meaningful decisions, not just have these like very obvious ways to win the game. We want the players to have these like kind of critical points where they have to decide between, should I go down this path? Should I confront this enemy? Should I pick up this item? I only have 5 bullets left. Should I try to shoot or should I go cover and try to scavenge for things? Decisions like this is what makes rogues like interesting, and I feel that the addition of the new content that I'll be presenting right now will make your runs a lot more diverse and much more fun. So once again, this is the setup scene. I'm sure if you viewed my devlogs previously, you are probably familiar with this environment. It's just what we use to test all our new gear and just make sure everything's working correctly. First, I want to go through some of the new items that we've added. We call them the new tactical items. Within the game prior to this update, we didn't think the amount of items that you found in the game was sufficient, right? There was like the med pack, some grenades. The meaningful choices between things that you had within your inventory was very minimal, right? You could either swap between a med pack or a grenade. You probably just chose the med pack because it's just better to have like good health. But now we have all these new items that you could kind of choose between. So when you're in the environment, depending on the situation, depending on whatever status your player has, you want to give the players meaningful choices on, oh shit, my inventory is full. I have 3 health packs, but my health is pretty good right now. Should I swap it with, this like syringe or, something else? So I'm just going to first go through some of the items, and then I'm going to go through some of the new classes and weapons that we have within the game. So always thought it was kind of cool to just be like a little bit Rambo, just be able to smoke a cigar, right? So very kind of vibey, classic. It doesn't really affect gameplay at all, but it just makes the experience so much cooler. So have that lit up. So this thing is what we call a defense helmet, right? And there's various types of defense helmets. I'm only showing you one within this demo. But all you do is just put it on. You take it off, you put it back on. And for this very basic one, all it does is just takes 1 shot. So it's just like a short shield, buff to allow you to be just a little bit more brave. But once you take 1 damage, the thing breaks, and you're just exposed again. So it's just kind of a cool feeling to have something on your head, be shielded with 1 down. It allows you to kind of, for a moment, be a little bit more brave, but once it breaks off, then you gotta like be a little bit more careful. Here we also have different syringes. So very inspired by, StarCraft Marines, the stim packs. You just inject yourself, press the trigger button. For this one's a health buff, but the other ones can be like a temp boost. Now a little bit more feral, a little bit more dangerous for, for a few seconds. It allows you to have a little bit more of agency with how you want to approach one of your runs. We switched up a little bit of how the healing works. Before, you just had a med pack that you just pull up and you just like insta heal for your full health, which is cool. But we thought it'd be much more interesting if you had something kind of like the Dark Souls canteen, where you could open it and you could kind of drink and sip in more incremental portions. So this allows you to kind of, I only have, I want to preserve some of this health potion, so I'm just going to take a few sips, close it, put it back in my thing, and then kind of revisit it later. So it allows for a little bit more kind of meaningful choice between usage. So we have a slew of different types of these things we're calling flare gun. You know, I'm just gonna show you one for now. But all this does is it just summons a light brigade soldier to come help you. So I arm it, fire it off. You can see like the light brigade soldier back there. It's temporarily kind of summoned in to help you during battle. And each of these different types of flare guns will summon different types of enemies. So they come in, pew 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 a little bit, and then they kind of fade away. There's a few other things that I didn't want to show because I want to keep it mysterious, but you know, it kind of gives you a hint of a few of the items that we have. Okay, next I want to go to what I think is the coolest part of this upgrade is player classes. Alrighty, so now we're showing you the newest, one of two of the newest player classes. This is called the Breacher. So the Breacher wields a Winchester 1897. This is definitely one of the most requested guns by far. You know, we did polls on Discord. People on, you know, the subreddits have been really requesting this shotgun. And we felt like definitely wanted to add a shotgun. We just didn't have time during the initial launch. So this is definitely more of a close range weapon, you know. You like load it in manually one at a time. You know, and has like the shotgun mechanics of, you know, knocking one of the bullets back. And what's fun about this is it requires you to have kind of a close range in order for doing damage, right? So if you're far, it has a great big fall off. But when you're close and you're able to get like a good straight shot at, you know, an enemy, it does massive damage. So it just definitely feels a lot more fun. So it's gonna add a lot more variation to your play. Alright, so this is definitely, I feel like, the flagship item of this entire patch, which is the engineer class. So the engineer class is unique in that it has a pilotable drone. So with the engineer class, you'll notice if you look down, there is a joystick positioned, you know, in a good position, and you could grab the joystick and then press trigger, and it'll emit one of these drones. And you can see like the yellow bar on top, it shows its battery life. If it gets hit or if it shoots enough, it would deplete its battery source, and then when it's completely depleted, it would return back into your pouch to recharge. We found the drone to be really cool because it's like this buddy that you have that's like constantly like taking cover or providing cover fire, and allows you to take out the new gun, which is the MP35, side loaded, high rate of fire. And then the interplay between kind of this like drone and this like kind of rangy like submachine gun allows it to have this really interesting dynamic. So, you know, I'm very excited for everyone to try. I think you'll definitely get a huge kick out of this. Alright, so within this new update, there are plenty of handcrafted environments. The first one that I want to show you is this new shooting range area. So we developed this like pretty cool shooting range, which allows players to kind of play these mini games and to have these like scores where they could kind of improve their shooting prowess and just have some fun. Some you have to like clear really quickly, hence speed clear, and some it's just time challenge. So I can just show you one. So after it starts, you see kind of your score, and then hopefully like as you unlock new playable classes and weapons, you kind of have a more objective measure of how good your shooting skill is. And there's like kind of a vibey place to explore. You could change your class here. Oh yeah, and here is the new player class changing table. Just rotate. The previous like hanging crystals was cool, but it wasn't very scalable. You know, in the future we plan to have even more classes, and because of how the layout worked, it didn't allow us to shove more and more crystals. So we have this like kind of this rotating like Chinese restaurant lazy Susan thing going on. It allows you to kind of unlock more and see kind of different classes you have unlocked into their levels and all that. So that's something new. So in the Light Brigade, when you go into the enemy world, every level besides the boss arenas uses procedure generation. We use a technique called WFC, waveform collapse, and it's like a procedural way to generate kind of new levels, infinite number of levels through combining tiles together. But we thought for this update, what might be special is to mix in these like handcrafted levels between the WFC generator. So you kind of have the best of both worlds, where you kind of have the feeling of like a randomness, but also the feeling of handcraftedness. So these levels, these handcrafted levels, are stitched into and kind of thrown into the pile of possible levels during your run. So we found it to be really cool because it allows the players to just have, you know, kind of break it up a bit. So it's not all the same levels. It's not all like super random feeling. Some just have this nice like, you know, there's certain things that you can only do in a handcrafted way. So we wanted to make sure that, you know, players had a good kind of variation to their experience. Some are pretty hard. Some have like kind of these mini bosses. Some have, you know, different layouts that allows players to just really kind of, it's like a little hint of like difficulty during a run, kind of break it up a bit. And that's all we are about, just adding variation, adding replayability, making your experiences more vibrant and fun, and hopefully just a lot more meaningful. That's pretty much for the devlog. You know, today I showed you a little bit of what we have going on. You know, there's a lot of stuff that we also haven't shown. Specifically like some balancing, some quality of life improvements, some other content that that hopefully you'll be surprised to see. Yeah, just to reiterate, you know, our goal has been to keep on improving the Light Brigade by adding more content, you know, extend the lore, extend the amount of like tactical items and meaningful choices that the players can employ during their run. Yeah, and our intention is to keep the game live with new content. So after this, you know, we're immediately jumping into our next upcoming update, and we'll try our best not to make y'all wait so long, and we're excited to hear what all of you think. Thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to your feedback. Thanks. Bye.